The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. Ariana Grande and her ex keep fueling reunion rumors.
Oh, yeah, the internet is completely losing it.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today's story is, it's a wild one.
It really is. I mean, today our mission is to decode a massive cultural spiral. We have a huge stack of sources for this deep dive. Everything from TMZ and celebrity gossip columns to a deeply cynical Reddit snark thread, all the way to a peer-reviewed sociological paper.
Wow, we're really covering all the bases.
We have to, because we're going to figure out how a simple July 4th grocery run turned into this intense battleground over identity, PR manipulation, and, the psychology of a whole generation.
Which is fascinating because if you just strip away the celebrity context, you literally just have a man and a woman standing near a deli counter.
Right. Just buying some organic cheese.
Right. Exactly. But when you apply the context of a decade-long public history, highly scrutinized recent breakups, and a digitally native fan base, well, that deli counter becomes ground zero for a massive psychological experiment.
Okay, let's look at the players involved, because I want to challenge the idea that this reaction is coming out of nowhere. We really have to rewind to understand the specific cultural weight of Ricky Alvarez.
Oh, for sure. You have to go back to, 2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't currently holding a PhD in 2010's pop history, Ricky was a backup dancer on the honeymoon tour. They dated from 2015 to roughly 2016.
And he was right there for some pretty major moments.
He was. He was standing right next to her during the infamous 2015 Donut Gate incident, which was a wildly chaotic PR crisis, and he even inspired the track Moonlight.
Right.
So my read on this is that Ricky isn't just an ex. He is like a human time capsule for a very specific, deeply nostalgic era of her career.
That is a crucial distinction. I mean, the 2015 to 2016 era was foundational for her transition from a former child star to a massive mainstream pop icon. And his role in that transition was permanently cemented by how their breakup was handled. Because the narrative at the time was incredibly amicable.
Right. It was very much a we're still best friends kind of vibe.
Exactly. They supposedly just couldn't make the schedules work, but they remained close. And that amicability was practically etched in stone in 2018 with the release of the mega hit Thank You, Next.
A genius. The famous line wrote some songs about Ricky, now I listen and laugh.
Yep, that's the one.
Which, honestly, that always felt like a slightly patronizing pat on the head to me.
Wait, really? You thought it was patronizing?
A little bit. I mean, it categorized him as this harmless, slightly funny footnote in her romantic history, especially unlike the heavier emotional weight given to Mac Miller or Pete Davidson in that exact same song.
Well, it did categorize him that way, but importantly, they both leaned into the joke. I don't know if you remember, but shortly after the song dropped, he posted a video of himself listening to that specific lyric.
Oh, right, where he's like zooming in on his own face.
Yeah. He was essentially mocking the fact that he got the most dismissive line in the track. And she reshared it, apologized playfully, and tagged him.
So they were in on the joke together.
Exactly. That established a very clear baseline for the public. These two have zero bad blood. They are safe. They are old friends who can publicly joke about their past.
But, all of this friendly history wouldn't matter, and literally no one would care about a grocery store run if she hadn't actively weaponized that history on stage just a few weeks ago.
Oh, the lyric change?
The lyric change. The spark that ignited this current spectacle happened in Austin, Texas, during the summer 2026 Eternal Sunshine Tour. Out of nowhere, she changes those iconic Thank You, Next lyrics.
And fans caught it immediately.
They catch everything. So instead of now I listen and laugh, she sings, now they still kind of slap. And then at a subsequent show, she changes it again to, I know he's still got my back.
And the kicker is, Wiki is standing right there in the VIP section.
Smiling. He's just smiling in the crowd.
I mean, you don't alter the lyrical canon of a song that defined a cultural moment by accident. You just don't. You do it to send a signal.
See, I have a theory about that. I don't think it was just a spontaneous shout out to a buddy in the crowd.
What's your theory?
When you have a microphone and tens of thousands of phones recording you, changing a lyric about an ex is a calculated test balloon. You're testing the waters to see exactly how the internet reacts to his presence.
Well, the reaction was immediate. They were spotted hanging out before the show in Texas, and the rumor mill just started churning. But the test balloon theory leads us directly into the main event.
The grocery store.
The grocery store. Because shortly after those Texas shows, we get the July 4th sighting. She wraps 3 sold-out shows in Florida, and the two of them are photographed grocery shopping together at a Whole Foods in Boca Raton.
Supposedly loading up a cart before heading to her parents' house for the Independence Day holiday.
Oh.
But let me stop you there, though. Because on paper, inviting an ex to your parents' house for a holiday weekend, right after publicly praising him from a stadium stage, it looks incredibly romantic.
It definitely paints a picture.
But isn't it equally possible that she just wanted, like, organic chips and he happened to be in town? I mean, are we as a culture completely incapable of letting two famous people be platonic friends?
We might be, honestly. But the official PR channels are certainly trying to push the platonic narrative.
They're pushing it hard.
Very hard. Sources speaking to both TMZ and the Chosin Ilbo issued vehement, almost aggressive denials of any romance. The official line is that they are strictly longtime friends. Nothing romantic is brewing. End of story.
But wait till you hear what the internet detectives uncovered about this specific grocery store run. Because this was not just any random candid outing. We'll reveal the visual twist that broke the internet right after this. And hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
So this visual twist is the element that completely unravels the just two friends grabbing chips defense.
I was absolutely floored when I saw the side-by-side comparison that Pop Brand put together. Have you seen it?
Oh, it's uncanny.
Uncanny is the word. The 2026 Boca Raton Whole Foods photos are an almost exact one-to-one replica of an iconic, highly circulated paparazzi photo of the two of them holding hands in a Studio City Whole Foods in March of 2016.
The resemblance is crazy.
The framing of the shot, the casual outfits, the specific way they're leaning over the cart, it's identical. Fans are calling it a full-circle moment, but to me it looks staged. It is way too perfectly mirrored to be a coincidence.
The statistical probability of accidentally recreating a 10-year-old paparazzi photo with that level of precision is virtually zero.
Exactly.
And we cannot look at this perfectly mirrored moment in a vacuum. To understand why a potential staging would happen, we really have to synthesize the timeline leading up to this moment, specifically using the reporting we found from the Times of India and Swoon.
Right. Which brings us to the Ethan Slater breakup.
Correct. This Ricky reunion, whatever its true nature actually is happening squarely in the shadow of her split from her Wicked co-star Ethan Slater, which was officially confirmed in June 2026.
And that was a heavily scrutinized 3-year relationship. It started amidst a massive media firestorm because both of them were ending marriages when they got together.
It was incredibly complicated.
Yeah, the public perception was incredibly messy, and the backlash was severe.
It was relentless. And if you look at the broader pattern since 2016, she has gone through a gauntlet of intense, highly public relationships. Mac Miller, Pete Davidson, a marriage and divorce with Dalton Gomez, and then Ethan Slater.
It's a lot for anyone to handle in the public eye.
It is. Every single one of those eras was defined by heavy media scrutiny and public judgment.
Which actually brings me to my major pushback against the romantic reunion narrative. Could this perfectly mirrored grocery run actually be a calculated PR move to utilize nostalgia?
That PR move? How so?
Think about it. The Ethan Slater relationship exhausted her public goodwill. The press was brutal. By literally recreating a beloved 2016 paparazzi photo with Ricky, she forces the media to talk about something safe.
Oh, that's interesting.
She is essentially using our own nostalgia against us to reset her image and soften the blow of a messy breakup.
That is a highly plausible reading of the situation. From a psychological standpoint, retreating to a safe past relationship or merely projecting the visual aesthetic of that past relationship is a classic coping mechanism.
Right, like putting on a comfortable old sweater.
Exactly. When a current high-profile situation spirals completely out of control, you seek a sanctuary. Nostalgia is an incredibly powerful shield. It actively shifts the cultural conversation from messy recent divorce and controversial new boyfriend to, remember the dangerous woman era.
It totally rewrites the headline.
Yeah.
And it worked on a huge segment of the fan base. People are thrilled. They're tweeting, Dangerous Woman 2.0 is coming. It feels like comfort food.
It does.
But it didn't work on everyone.
No, it certainly did not. If we look at the deep dive we pulled from the Reddit community, specifically the Ariana Grande snark thread, the reaction is incredibly hostile.
Oh my gosh, the Reddit detectives were ruthless. I read through that thread, and they are not buying the cute nostalgia narrative at all.
Not even a little bit.
They pointed out that Ricky actually visited her in London while she was filming Wicked. They cross-referenced Instagram photos he posted in Hampstead Heath, which is right near where she was living, during a window of time when she and Ethan had allegedly blocked each other.
The level of sleuthing is terrifying, honestly. They are essentially accusing Ricky of being her eternal safety net, or just a convenient rebound. And the criticism goes much deeper than just who she is dating.
Yeah, one commenter literally wrote more songs about Ricky because I like to loop back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Savage.
It's so savage. But it also speaks to a deeper frustration. They are questioning her ability to be single. They are mapping out overlapping relationship timelines and heavily criticizing her tendency to adopt entirely different aesthetics and personality traits depending on who she is with.
Which really raises an important question about the audience itself. Like, why does a pop star's dating timeline provoke such a visceral, angry response from people who have never even met her?
That is exactly what I want to figure out. How did we get to a point where a fan base is writing 2,000-word essays on Reddit about the ethical implications of a grocery cart?
Is wild when you say it out loud.
It is. To understand that, we have to look at the psychological machinery driving this generation of fans. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking academic theory nobody saw coming, explaining exactly why Gen Z fans are treating this celebrity relationship like a personal betrayal.
You definitely want to stick around for this part.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next as we uncover the real reasons behind the fame. So, when you move past the gossip columns and look at the actual sociology of this event, it reveals how modern digital culture processes identity. We are looking at a fundamental shift in fan behavior.
Let's bring in the academic paper we pulled for this. It's called Pop Profits: How Celebrity Culture Shapes Gen Z's Worldview.
A great paper.
It really is. I initially thought an academic paper on celebrity gossip would be incredibly dry, but it completely changed how I view this entire Ricky Alvarez situation.
Yeah, it breaks it down so well.
It does. The paper argues that Gen Z evaluates public figures through a strict dual filter. It's no longer just about having vocal talent or being untouchably glamorous like a 90s movie star. Celebrities are now judged relentlessly on authenticity and relatability.
And the researchers outlined two key frameworks that are essential here. Let's start with the meaning transfer model.
Okay, weigh it on me.
Traditionally, this is a marketing concept. Think about how a brand uses an athlete. Michael Jordan doesn't literally make a piece of leather and rubber jump higher.
Obviously not.
But by wearing Nike, Jordan transfers his meaning, his excellence, his cool factor, his legacy onto the sneaker. The consumer buys the shoe to access that meaning.
Wait, I see where you're going with this. You're saying Ricky Alvarez is the sneaker.
In a symbolic sense, yes.
That is amazing.
The paper argues that in the digital age, people act as brands. Ricky Alvarez isn't just a guy from her past. He is a vessel of meaning. To the fans, Ricky represents the 2016 era.
A safer era.
Exactly. He represents a time before the intense trauma of the Manchester bombing, before the tragic death of Mac Miller, before her divorces. He is a walking, talking symbol of a lighter, safer time in her life.
So by hanging out with him?
When she associates with him, she is attempting a meaning transfer. She was trying to pull that 2016 safety and innocence into her turbulent 2026 reality.
That makes perfect sense. It's why the recreated Whole Foods photo is so genius, and also why it feels a little manipulative. But why does the Reddit crowd see right through it?
Well, that's where the second framework comes in.
The paper brings up another concept that I found a bit dense, the elaboration likelihood model, or ELM. Can you break down how that actually works in the context of a fan deciding to hate a celebrity's new relationship?
Absolutely. The elaboration likelihood model explains how humans process persuasion. It posits that there are two routes to being persuaded: the central route and the peripheral route.
Okay, central and peripheral.
The central route requires deep, critical thinking. You evaluate the facts, you weigh the evidence, and you form a logical conclusion.
Which takes a lot of mental energy.
Exactly. But the peripheral route is what happens when we are overwhelmed with information. We get lazy, we rely on superficial cues, aesthetics, or the opinions of a few loud voices in our immediate circle.
So when a fan is scrolling TikTok at 2 a.m., they aren't using the central route. They aren't deeply analyzing the complexities of two adults navigating a decade-long friendship.
Exactly the opposite. They are using the peripheral route. They see a side-by-side photo, they see a highly upvoted comment on Reddit claiming she can never be single, and their brain just accepts that social cue as absolute truth.
That's so true.
The paper ties this directly to herd mentality in digital spaces. A few highly critical voices point out a perceived flaw like her overlapping relationship timelines. And because the digital environment rewards outrage, that opinion snowballs into collective moral judgment.
It's like we're all watching a real-time soap opera, but the audience is deeply convinced they hold a remote control that can actually change the script.
That's a great way to put it.
Because she has historically shared her heartbreaks directly through her music, literally naming her exes in her tracks. She invited the audience into her diary. She built this intense parasocial bond. Fans don't feel like they are observing her life. They feel like they are stakeholders in it.
They feel invested.
Deeply invested. If she gets back with Ricky, the fans who love 2016 feel victorious. The fans who think it's a step backward feel personally betrayed.
And that feeling of betrayal is where this connects to cancel culture, which the paper explores in depth. Gen Z doesn't just consume celebrity drama for entertainment. They use it as a proxy to negotiate their own social and moral norms.
So it's not even about her anymore.
Right. The intense Reddit debates aren't really about Ariana Grande's dating life at all.
I actually read one comment that made this so clear. A user wrote, "Going back to your ex after a decade filled with a divorce and a hardcore failed relationship is totally unacceptable in terms of self-love."
Wow. Unacceptable.
Right. That isn't a critique of pop music. That is a fan projecting their own rigid rules for mental health and feminism onto a stranger.
They are using her as a human whiteboard to map out their own boundaries regarding loyalty, independence, and self-worth. By condemning her alleged rebound, the commenter is publicly signaling their own moral superiority to their peers in that forum.
I have to ask you, the listener, to really think about this for a second. Have you ever found yourself judging a celebrity's ex or an influencer's messy breakup, only to realize you're actually just projecting your own past relationship trauma onto them?
It happens all the time.
It is so incredibly easy to do when the screen in our hands makes these untouchable billionaires feel like our messy peers.
That is the ultimate takeaway from all of these sources. Whether Ariana and Ricky are secretly rekindling a romance, orchestrating a brilliant PR distraction, or literally just buying organic snacks for a 4th of July BBQ, the truth of their relationship is almost irrelevant.
The reaction is what matters.
Exactly. The reaction to them proves that pop culture is the primary language we use to build our own identities and test our own moral boundaries.
It really forces us to look in the mirror. When we relentlessly track a celebrity running back to their past, we have to ask ourselves a hard question. Are we so obsessed with them repeating their mistakes because we are secretly terrified of repeating our own?
That is something to think about.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.